So the next script, the check Xlst script, will look for unrecorded liabilities. And this script will use the age function as well as an extract statement. And as you can see here, the crux of the script comes down to this bit right here. It's essentially whenever there's an aging date and we're entering the aging date at the top there into that except statement, it's going to take that age date that we enter there, it's going to turn it into an actual date field, which is that ctod function, and then what it's going to do is it's going to extract if the check date, when it's aligned to this age date that you've entered, is after year end, if the enter date is after year end, and then if the invoice date is before year end. And you can notice there the sign where if an age date is 12/31/2011 and we have a date of January 10th, 2012 as a check date, that check date minus the aging date in this particular example will be less than 0. So anything after that date will be less than 0. And anything before that age date will have a value of greater than 0. So this is a bit of an interesting way to use the age function, and then the code itself having the less than 0, greater than 0, it could be used to extract those items that have have been entered and have check dates after year end, but again relate to invoices and probably a lot of activity that was prior to year end. So in jumping over to ACL, I have done a couple of things just to speed this up. I've added the check date, invoice date, and enter date to the view of ACL and put them in a row. And I've typed up this one statement that we can see here. I noticed in my data that the November 30th of 1995 was a time frame where we kind of had a bit of a period end confusion as to invoices being entered. And as you can see here, if I have the check date greater than November 30th, 1995, enter date greater than or equal to November 30th, 1995, and the invoice date less than the 11/30/1995, I can select enter, and we do identify a couple of invoices that were entered late for the November close, but did have an invoice date that was prior to year end, or this period end, which would be November 30th, 1995. So I wanted to show you this statement because it is a little confusing with all the dates going back and forth before we went into the age statement of the check Xlst script. So let me clear out this filter that we set on the paid invoice file, and I'm just going to run this check Xlst script. And this application will extract all check payments after period end for invoices dated prior to period end, but entered after it. So it's confusing to say, but it is a very good unrecorded liability test. I'm going to select the paid invoice file, the invoice date, the enter date, the check date. Again, these could be named however you want to name them in your data file. In this case, we know 1995 11/30 is the date of cutoff. I can select the enter button at this point, and the script ran. It created the file invoices after period end. And these are the two invoices that we looked at before, but now it's been run in a script form. And let's just take a look at that script. And again, we have the pause statements and the dialogues up front, opening files. This was the accept statement, which we talked about in the slide. And then this is the actual extract statement where we're using the age date. So you can edit this however you'd like. I mean, you may want to even make it if items are over a certain time frame, say over 30 days after year end or 30 days prior to year end. So it doesn't have to be so clean or close. You could even look for things that are very far away. And again, the way to do that would be to even say, instead of having it less than 0, in this case you could do less than 30 or greater than 30, and then that will kind of shift the timing of when that age function will take place.